here is what I'm going to work on now. Well, what's going on with this thing? Well, let's zoom in a little bit and see. Okay, there's something right around in here that I think I can pull out. There's like a little guy here. He's saying, I would like to be focused on. And I say, okay, that's what I'm going to do for you. I'll focus on you. I talk to my drawings, you see. Oh my goodness. What a day today. Today was one of those hard ones. But life is about that at times, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. All right. Now let's see here. How about we do the same thing, but we do it here. I like to go fairly light, but this time, well, and this time I'm going to go light, meaning I'm not going to press hard. But I'm going to go fast. That's the difference there. Light and fast. That way you can build up a layer. Not layer, but layers. Welcome to my layer. No, that's fairly decent. Those are some decent strokages. I don't mind those. All right, so this curve up and down like that, right? So we can accentuate that by filling in this area lightly. When you press very lightly, what you're doing is you're being gentle with the whole thing, right? You're letting the ink come out gently and dry. And you're not pressing onto the paper, you're not pushing into the paper as much. So the paint, ink, it's like paint, comes out gently and dries, and the paper itself is not marred. And then if you keep going over it and over it and over it, eventually it'll build up the ink in layers, and it has a more consistent look. So what I like to do, if I do want something to be fairly opaque, is I come at it from a different angle. So this would be a cross-hatching. Like so. Okay. Good. Right. So let's do the same thing, but up here. you notice, I went down at this angle, right? So if I follow this line here, then I am cross-hatching naturally, see? And I'm not butting right up against that line right there, so it leaves a little bit of white right there. That's on purpose. That's by design. Now, what I just did was not on purpose, but I do like it, so I'm going to leave it, perhaps. Maybe not, I don't know, but we'll see if it does get left. And it's this area right here, which is white. So what could happen is it could turn into a type of highlight, you see. So I'm trying to maintain a softness here by not pressing very hard, just pressing lightly. And then you see this line that goes right like that. Well, now I can do some cross-hatching in this way. And the ink came out fairly quickly because I think it had built up on the nib. You have to be careful if you don't want that. Fortunately, it's fine because I plan on making this fairly dark. Sometimes I make an area dark simply because it's not very even. And also, sometimes I just overwork it. It just becomes dark naturally. All these things are true. Every now and then, you'll want to roll your pen like roll it like that, you see, onto your paper that you're using under your hand to keep the oils off of the main piece. Your skin has oil in it, right? What I like to call the oils. It's a little thing I do. And you can too. But yeah, you don't want to put that on your paper. Or do you? That's your thing, man. All right. So, as I said, there's this curve here, and I like that curve, so I don't really want to mess with it too much in the way of making it go away. Sometimes I just accidentally move over something. So there, okay. It's there. Now I like this curve too. These are very nice. And I got these curves because I was how can I say, drawing, for lack of a better word. Running my pen over the paper very quickly. Sketching, doodling. I don't care for that word very much. The reason is because it implies just nothing serious. So it's not something I'm really doing. I'm practicing, really, my strokes, my drawing. I don't mean to sound so precious, whatever you want to say. Call it hot dogging if you want to. Who really cares? It's just words. Whether or not somebody will understand you is another point altogether. All right. Some people use October as a way to draw a new piece every day, and they post it on social media. I used to do that a couple months, or years ago. But I stopped. Drawing something every day is fine. It's not I do that anyway. But a new finished piece every day, I'm actually busy, I think. Sounds like an excuse, and it may be, but I just really don't feel like it this year. It's not my thing. I have other things to do, other concerns. I'm painting now, which is kind of cool. Very cool for me, because I'm wasn't really a painter. But now I think I can consider myself one. Using acrylic. I'll post some of those up here as well, but not right now because I'm doing this now. This is what I'm doing. One thing at a time, folks. Okay. Yes and no. Not quite on this one. But I can take advantage of the old cross-hatching remedy, which I will do right now. Gently. Yes. It's kind of letting the pen almost float on it rather than pushing hard. Okay. Yeah. I like that area. This still needs a little bit of work, and I'm going to go back down in there and get back on it. Oh, let me show you what I can do here. So you notice this doesn't really look all that great to me. Do you notice that it doesn't look great to me? Maybe you like it, but I need to still work on it, and I want it to be more consistent. Like that, you see. So I turned this around so I could start here. The stroke can start here and I have more control as opposed to where it ends. See? That's pretty good like that. I want to leave this highlight here, so I'm going to not go in and mess with that very much. I think this piece has potential to actually become something that I'd want to frame, more so than some of the other ones I've been doing. Why? Why do I think so? Well, there's just something more interesting going on with the shape here. I really do think this is pretty cool. I can imagine cutting it out here. Yeah, not so much going up into here. This looks like an entirely different piece to me. But it could be trimmed here, right? That is, if it turns out to be pretty good. The one drawback here is that I did this on graph paper. But, you know, it's paper, and it has its own kind of characteristic. I do like, you know, to work on very nice materials. But sometimes there's a psychological barrier when you're working on really nice paper. And that is that you don't want to mess it up, you see. So you think, oh, this is expensive, or it's, you know, it's really, really good and rare. So it's the only one I have, or something like that. And so then I tend to be a little bit more cautious. And being cautious can sometimes kill the energy of the piece. Planned caution, or caution that is considered within the framework of something that's already been put down and decided, is a different beast altogether. Like what I'm doing now is I'm cautiously, carefully working up in this area here. That's because I already know what I want to do, as opposed to working on something which is just preliminary, trying to figure it out. So sketching is good for preliminary work, planning stages. But I also like the spontaneity of it, and it turns into something often. Most of my pieces weren't planned. Recently I've been getting into more planning because I'm painting. And painting for me is, I prefer the planned, considered painting as opposed to the one that's put on in more of what's the word? Improvisational style. Okay, so let's see here. This is still there, thankfully. I haven't covered it up because I do like that curve. All right. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Just right there. That's a good stopping place. I think I'm going to return to this one. Yeah, I might work on this again. And again. Depends on, again, how it works out. When I return, I can see moving in, let me use my pen nib here to show you, moving in this area here, you see. And then whatever I did here, I can imagine repeating around in here. And I see some kind of a little dude here with the shoes. I just drew something there, didn't mean to. And like the armature or arms. Armature is not for people, right? Arms, they go up like that. This is also like it's a bit phallic. Yeah, go with it. Sure. Make that part of the story. And then